shirts, I finally found the Social Security Trust Fund. What are we talking about? I've done a few videos over the last couple of days that I've got a lot of comments, and it seems like you just read the comments, and probably about 30 or 40% of them said, well, the problem with Social Security in the future, next year, and the possible cuts in the future is because the trust fund has been stolen. It's been given out to other countries. It's been given to this group or that group, or it's whatever the case may be. And if the politicians would only return the trust fund that they stole, everything would be fine and dandy. Well, I'm going to talk about that today, the reality of the trust fund. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country. And right now in my semi-retirement, I'm helping y'all make sure everything you're entitled to. A lot of people out there that are not receiving the benefits they're entitled to, the benefits, that's another word. A lot of people have an issue with the word entitled. So this is the future of Social Security cuts. The Social Security trustees report, they're talking about cuts within the next few years of either 17%, 20%, 21%, or 33%. And something needs to be done. And one of the things that need to be done is we need to have a serious conversation and make tough choices. But one of the problems is we're not having a serious conversation because we're falling into the politicians, magic trick of, the shiny objects over here. You need to worry about the definition of entitlement. Look it up in the dictionary. There's two definitions. You need to worry about the trust fund that was stolen. If that was just miraculously found, then everything would be okay. Well, that's not the case because I found the trust fund. So let's talk about that today. And this is also a live Q&A. So if you're watching this on a recording later, you'll see that this video is an hour long. I'm only going to take about another 7 or 8 minutes on the trust fund, and then I'm going to answer y'all's questions. And I am going to contribute to the diminishing of the trust fund by finding y'all money. Sorry, but people out there need the money they earned. All right, the facts. So there's 5 facts I'm going to talk about. And fact number 1 is every penny of the trust fund is, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, present and or accounted for, sir. It's all there. It has been stolen. It has not been stolen. It has not been, given into politicians or the billionaires or foreign countries or wherever the case may be. The money is still there. All you have to do is look at the Social Security Trustees report, and it's the full faith and credit of the United States. And people are going to immediately shun when I say that, but it's particular. It's a trust fund, just like your 401k where you buy the treasury bonds, but the Social Security Trust Fund is a little bit safer than your regular 401k stuff. So like Warren Buffett recently, it cashed in a bunch of his Apple stock and he bought treasury bonds. Canada has a bunch of treasury bonds. Japan has a bunch of treasury bonds, US Treasury, Luxembourg, your 401k does. All of these people trust the full faith and credit of the United States, and that's where the Social Security Trust Fund is as well. And it's all there. It's all present and accounted for. Do we have a deficit in the general budget? Yes, we do have a deficit in the general budget. But let me go ahead and pop up the Social Security Trust Fund, the trustees report, and it specifically shows. So you can go into the trustees report. I'll put that in a link. And so we've got $2.7 trillion as of 2023. Income coming in, so FICA taxes coming in, 1.1. Going out, 1.2. So there's the issue right there. We've got less FICA taxes coming in than we have money going out. How do we get the difference? How do we check the difference? Well, we pull from the trust fund. So last year, they pulled $70 billion from the trust fund. So do you want to know where the trust fund is? It's in your paycheck. So fact number 2 is you are currently receiving the trust fund back. It's being paid back. It's pretty much every check since 2010 has had a percentage of the trust fund being paid back, because in 2010, that's where it's the daily, essentially the monthly receipts coming in is less than those going out. So since 2010, they have started pulling from the trust fund. Last year, your check, 5.6% of your check basically was from the trust fund. Don't know what the numbers are this year. This year might be 6 or 7%. So if you believe that the trust fund is just worthless IOUs, then please take that probably 6 or 7% of your check, donate it to charity. Buy me a whole bunch of beers, uh, contribute to this, and everybody on here live will decide where we're going to give it to charity. So if you really want to put your money where your mouth is, that the trust fund is just a bunch of worthless IOUs, and donate part of your check, 6% of your check. And the problem going forward is that last year was 5.6, might be 6, 7% this year. Next year it might be 7, 8%. And what we're looking at, the Social Security trustees saying that in probably 2034, 2031, that's when it's really going to be cut anywhere from 17%, 20% to 33%. So we need to have a serious conversation. And the number one thing is to say, okay, hey, all right, understand the trust fund is there. And then the next question is, okay, what happened? So what happened to all those trillions there? I just explained it there, but let me show you a little graph. So this is, if you can see this now, this is the old age survivors and disability income over the years. So in 2020, this is 2023 right now. So the yellow area is where FICA, the trust fund, took in more money. So this was a plan. The trust fund was a plan in the early 1980s under Reagan, the Greenspan Commission. They say, hey, baby boomers, those 76 million beautiful people that were born between 1946 and 1964. Well, they are going to get old, hopefully, if they're lucky, and they're going to start pulling from Social Security. So maybe we should start putting some money in the bank, or chock full of canned nuts out in the back of the White House, or wherever they put it, in Fort Knox. Maybe we should save some money. So that's what they did, is they established that trust fund. So the yellow area is all of those years they got more money than they put out, and they took that money and they put it in a trust fund, in treasuries, in full faith and credit of the United States, that pretty much every country in the world supports and agrees with and trusts. And then in 2010, it switched from the yellow to the green. And the green is where they started pulling out of the trust fund. And the green ends, as you can see, probably 2031, 2034. It changes a little bit every year. It depends on what happens on the next this next presidential term, or the next 4 years, or the next several years. We're going to see what happens. And why wasn't more money put away in the trust fund so it would stay around longer? Well, that's the issue, right? Basically, the crystal ball in the 1980s was a crystal ball. They were looking at the future. They based their estimates of how much they would need for the trust fund in the future based on the reality at the time, right? So that's the fact. They just missed. They didn't carry the one, I guess. The two things that they missed was the demographics, in terms of they thought we would have more kids and more people would pay into FICA, and therefore it would be good. And the other thing they really, really missed is they missed how much money goes to the top. So kind of a redistribution of wealth to the top. It's basically, once, a lot of people don't know this, you, me, probably everybody, 99% of the people watching this paid FICA tax on every penny. Every dollar that came in, you paid FICA tax. The 6.2%, for Social Security, and your boss paid 6.2%. But if you made over $168,600 this year, you don't pay FICA tax on Social Security anymore. So if you're making $2 million, you're paying less than 1% of your pay in FICA and Social Security tax. If you're making less than 168,000, then you're paying 6.2, plus your boss is paying 6.2. You're basically paying 12.4% of your income is going to FICA tax to shore up Social Security. If you're making $1 million, $2 million, then you're paying, pennies. If you're making, like Elon Musk or the really rich people, they stop paying FICA tax at, January 1st at, the first 1 hour of January 1st, they stop paying FICA tax. The rest of us pay all year. So that was the crystal ball that was broken. And that's why the trust fund is running out sooner than they expected. Less children and less money. And one of the things that is also a fact that there's also a lot of people losing money right now. So that's kind of my job in my kind of semi-retirement. If you're new to my channel, this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of bringing the attention of the long-term viability of Social Security and what we need to make sure it's still around here and there's no cuts. But my most important first job is to kind of pull from the trust fund by making sure y'all are doing the right thing and get all the benefits you're entitled to. So that's why I do a live Q&A. And so I help you with Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. And I have a partner that also helps with Medicare. This is the Medicare season, ends December 7th. You paid for Medicare. Make sure you get everything you're entitled to for Medicare. There's close to 2 million plans that were canceled this year, Medicare Advantage plan, prescription drug plans. And a lot of people, I guarantee hundreds of thousands of people did not get the notification. They threw it away, or it was misdelivered, or whatever the case may be, and they didn't get the notification that their plan has been canceled. So make sure you reach out to Chapter, and they'll give you a free review. Make sure, see if your plan was canceled, see if it was downgraded, see if there's anything else better in your particular area. All right. So, and then the fact number 4 is Social Security is not just a trust fund. Again, the trust fund was a temporary thing. Social Security has had several trust funds going back to 1935. It's not a permanent thing. It's for a particular, a situation. In this case, it was for the baby boomers. They put a bunch of money away temporarily to cover something that's going to happen in the future. Again, they miscalculated. But Social Security will always be here as long as we want it to be here, because there's always going to be people paying. There are always going to be people working and paying taxes, which includes the payroll tax, the FICA tax for Social Security and Medicare. So as long as there's people working and paying FICA, then Social Security will always be here. The issue is, how much are we going to get in the future? If we're only depending on those paying right now, then that's the issue going forward, is how much we're going to cut. It's not, when. Well, the question is when. It changes a few years here and there, but there is no question that there are going to be cuts if we don't do anything. And the fact 5 is there are several solutions to stop the cuts. So we do get everything we thought we were going to get in retirement. You can increase the FICA for everyone. So instead of 6.2, make 7 or 8%. You can increase the FICA cap or eliminate it completely. So those that make over 168,000 pay it, 100%, just like the rest of us, Joe Schmoes that have to pay everything into FICA. You can cut benefits, which is basically what's on the plan right now. So you hear people say, well, politicians love saying, I'm not going to touch Social Security. I'm not going to cut Social Security. I'm not going to raise the retirement age. Okay. All right. Perfect. That's awesome. But if you don't do anything, all those cuts are going to happen inevitably within the next few years, because the math just doesn't make sense. Another option out there is means testing. So if someone makes a lot of money, got other 401ks or other income coming in, then they shouldn't get Social Security. That is one option out there. Another option, raise the retirement age. And the same, a lot of people that are saying that, where's the trust fund? Where's the trust fund? If we stop giving money to this country or this country, that is, I guess, another option. Just pull money out of the general revenue and shore up Social Security. But Social Security was always supposed to be kind of a self-sustaining unit. The current payees, essentially, current payees of FICA tax pay current recipients. Again, sometimes the demographics don't mesh, so they set up a trust fund. But that's essentially the situation, that it's supposed to be self-sustaining and supposed to be separate. If we want to pull money out of the general that's already way into debt, I guess that's a conversation that we need to have. But the number one thing to have that conversation is start having a serious conversation and not fall for the tricks of the politicians that say, you don't need to worry about, increasing taxes on my rich friends. you need to worry about what happened to the trust fund. Let's go find the trust fund. They stole the trust fund. Let's blame this program. And so, yeah, we're not having a serious conversation. And that's the reason we're in where we're in. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into your specific questions and do my best to kind of whittle down the trust fund, I guess. Unfortunately, that's kind of my new mission in life. All right, I'm going to file next year at 62, but my ex is only 55. If I file at 62 and collect mine for 7 years, can I then request to collect under his when he files for 62? He made a lot more money than I. Yes, absolutely. So you're 62 years old, you go ahead and file for your benefits on your record. And then when he has to collect, if you're currently, well, okay, you said he's an ex. So in that case, you don't. It's called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. So if it's an ex-spouse, remember, you had to be married to the person for 10 years. And as soon as that person hits 62 years old, then you can collect benefits on that person's record. A lot of people think that their ex-spouse, the divorced spouse, has to start receiving benefits, and that's incorrect. It's called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. So please share and subscribe and all that, like and all that kind of good stuff, this video, because that's how that information gets out there. There's a lot of people, I bet you there's someone that that is sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for their ex-spouse to go ahead and file for benefits so they can file for benefits on that record. Incorrect. Independently entitled divorce spouse. And unfortunately, Social Security gives out the wrong information. I've sent quite a few people down to local Social Security office and say, hey, go ask for independently entitled divorce spouse. And they go down there and the Social Security employee tells them, no, your ex has to file. And then, so I have to provide the reference. And yeah, so then they go back there and the employee, a little sheepish look on their face, and at least we educated them. So please. And the unfortunately, Social Security assistance is going to get a lot worse because there's a 50-year low in Social Security, and you barely get through now, and you're given wrong information. And social media definitely isn't helping. So that's what I'm doing in my semi-retirement here. Can you explain what the Social Security Fairness Act is? I believe it just passed the House and is going to the Senate. Do you think it will pass the Senate? I certainly hope not. I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow. Yeah, it's not the Fairness Act. It's the unfair for 96% of people out there. But I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow, and I'll get into it. I completely disagree with it. It's giving a extra benefit that wasn't intended. It was intended for low-income workers, and people that made a lot more money are trying to get it because they're, again, using vocabulary that's incorrect. So, and politicians are trying to get votes, so they're, anyway. Karen, can I suspend spousal benefits until I'm 70 without suspending all my benefits? I have been disabled 2003. Spousal benefits started in 2022. I lost my QMB 2024 when Medicare resurfaced. So yes, you can definitely suspend your benefits, but if you suspend your spouse benefits, you're going to suspend your own as well. So nothing is going to increase or anything like that. So yeah, no, you'd have to suspend both. And basically there are three ways to stop your benefits, stop or suspend Social Security retirement, benefits predominantly, is within 12 months of filing, you change your mind and say, yeah, forget about it. I want to withdraw my claim. 12 months ago, I filed, I want to go and withdraw it. You withdraw the claim like it never happened. And because it never happened, that you have to pay all that money back. Number two is you do a work report. You call up Social Security and say, hey, I'm going to make X amount of money next year or this year. And Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. You're suspended. And there's another way you can actually, if you're receiving benefits on your own record, you can stop your benefits just before you hit your full retirement age. And so you can get those delayed retirement credits. So a lot of people don't know about that. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. And you lost your QMB, which is Medicaid, particularly assistance, to pay for your Part B and stuff like that. So if you lost your QMB, you probably had a Medicare Advantage plan because that's pretty much all you can get with if you have Medicaid. So if you lost your QMB, you probably, well, I guarantee you lost your Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan, unless they downgraded you just one step to a QI or something like that. Depends on your state; they're all a little bit different. But you might have to find a new plan, a new Medicare Advantage, because you might not be eligible for the dual eligible plan anymore. So call, where is it? Call chapter there. They'll review all your plans, 100% free help, and they'll see what's available in your area. Got bad info for them a long way. No accurate answers. Oh, okay, so this is ongoing. Let's see here. I am 65, been on disability with Social Security for years. My divorced ex of 30 years is 64. I mailed the certified divorce papers. On the phone appointment, they told me I can't collect until he does. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just okay. I'm gonna let me find the link, and it's called IEDS. I've taken thousands of these claims when I worked at Social Security. All right, I'm gonna type it in the chat down there. It's going to be labeled IEDS, and there's 20,000 pages of Social Security policy, and that's the few pages that talk about that. So next time you go in there, so basically what you did is you called up, when you call up Social Security, whether that's the local office or the 800 number, you just talk to a generalist. You're not talking to what's called a Title II claim specialist expert. And unfortunately, yeah, they give out wrong information. And normally you would, you and pretty much everybody else would think, okay, that's an official decision, and you would go on with your life and you would be losing all that money. But luckily, someone somewhere pressed like and subscribed and shared this video, and somehow my face got to you. I was going to say something really derogatory, but my face got to you, and now you know that's not correct, and you are going to go back in there armed with that, and you're going to go get your money. So don't thank me, thank the person that all those people that liked and subscribed and all that kind of good stuff. So they're the reason you're able to get this information. I'm due a survivor benefit on my late wife's record. I'm waiting to claim at my full retirement age as I'm still working. Is FRA for survivor the same as FRA for retirement? No, it's a little bit different. It's a few months different. It's not different for the annual earnings limit. That's still the same, the annual earnings limit in terms of working and, getting offset. But survivor benefits full retirement age is a few months difference. Simply because in order to get benefits on your own record or spouse benefits, you can get that at 62. Survivor benefits, you can start at 60. So that's why there's a tad bit of a difference there. Let's see here. Good afternoon. If a kid is born in the Philippines with an American father and never set foot in the U.S. and he got a pension, dad is 65. Yeah, if the child is a U.S. citizen born abroad, then then that's a U.S. citizen. As long as he doesn't move to North Korea or Cuba, you can get money. So just reach out to, I hate to say this, the Federal Benefits Unit in Manila. The Federal Benefits Unit in every embassy and every consulate in the country, there are, embassy staff that also kind of have workloads, that include Social Security. They've trained a little bit, but not a whole heck of a lot. In Manila, there's an actual Social Security employee. Used to be a buddy of mine, Jason, but I think he's moved on since. But it takes forever when you do that. If you happen to be coming back to the United States, I would go to your local Social Security office because, it's going to save you a lot of time. But if not, then you'll have to go to the Federal Benefits Unit in the embassy there. How does Medicare as a secondary work? That's sausage being made. Primary, the secondary and primary. A lot of people get caught in the mix, when they have like Medicare and then Medicaid and then a Medicare Advantage, or they have TRICARE and all that kind of stuff. It's just insurance companies fighting each other out and saying, hey, you pay this. No, I paid that part and you paid the other part. And usually you're stuck in the middle, and, you're the billing person at your doctor's office is, pulling their hair out. And so, if it's too much of a headache, and it's really depends on the particular situation. But in terms of, if you have, let's say, if you have a Medicare supplement plan, which is one of those Medicare supplement plan F or G or N, and you go to a doctor and they charge you $100,000, then if it's covered under Part B, then Part B of Medicare pays 80%, $80,000. And then they send the bill, I think, or the computer system actually talks to each other for whatever Medicare supplement company you chose, and they're obligated to cut a check for the other 20%. So so that's kind of a secondary kind of there. But yeah. I just wanted to know what will happen since I am on SSDI only, not Medicaid. Yeah, not sure what you're looking for there. Yeah, if you're on SSDI, not Medicaid, um, you will be on Medicare within 24 months, because if you're approved for SSDI, so there's two different types of disability. There is SSI disability, which is the welfare-based benefit, that's supplemental security income, and then there's SSDI, which Social Security Disability Insurance. And if you have SSI, you're not entitled to Medicare. You can get Medicaid. You're usually what's called categorically eligible for Medicaid, but on SSDI, you get Medicare after being on SSDI for 24 months. Jane, a single disabled 59-year-old on SSDI with 10-year plus ex-spouse who is currently on Social Security receiving at least twice the benefit of Jane, when Jane will be able to collect any additional benefits when Jane reaches 62 years old. Yep. So a lot of people out there, another place, people are losing money, donating back to the trust fund when that's their money. There's a lot of people out there that are receiving Social Security disability, and they're receiving Medicare because of it. And then they find out at 60, they're entitled to survivor benefits, more benefits for survivor. Or at 62, they find out they're more entitled to more benefits on spouse benefits or ex-spouse benefits or independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. And they don't get it because they don't want their disability to stop, because they don't want their Medicare to stop. But no, that is incorrect. You can have Medicare, disability, and get survivor benefits. One offsets the other, but you can get all three. So let's see here. I'm collecting spousal benefits. My husband passed 122. Can I call and just have someone check to see if I'm getting the right amount? Yes. So if you're receiving spousal benefits, in that when you started receiving it when that person was alive, then the max you can receive is up to 50% of that person's benefit amount. When that person passes away, it depends on how old you are. But if you're your full retirement age, you'll essentially receive 100% of what that person was receiving. And that's pretty much automatic if you're after your full retirement age. Sometimes when you're under your full retirement age and your spouse passes away, they put you in suspense and kind of, reach out to you, or they're supposed to. But yeah, if the benefit should be correct if your spouse checked their earnings and everything like that. If they passed away before the age of 62, there's a thing called Windex earnings that sometimes they miss. But if they passed away after 62, it's just an automatic convert from living benefits to survivor benefits. Hello, Doctor. We're all fortunate to have you. Oh, thank you. We're fortunate to have you all to reach out there and help people around you. I have a 25-year-old that is permanently disabled. He is eligible for SSDI and SSI. My husband legally adopted him so he can collect survivor benefits if something happens. Did we plan this right? Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. So, let's see. How this works is the child can receive SSI. People can receive SSI and SSDI. So they can receive SSI and SSDI and Medicare and Medicaid and get a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan and get the extra help with prescription drugs. And yeah, so there's so many parts of the puzzle. People often miss parts of that puzzle. But if your husband adopted the child, and but it sounds as though your husband is not receiving benefits right now. If your husband goes ahead and starts receiving retirement or disability benefits, then the child is eligible for benefits on that person's record, 50%, up to 50%. If there's no other kids, then it's 50%. And then if the child is receiving benefits on the parent, and these are called disabled adult child, DAC benefits, disabled adult child, then if something happens to the father, then the child is automatically converted from 50% to 75%. So, all right, let's see. I'm on step 3 on SSDI decision, and I checked my account, and it said that I have enough credits, and it hasn't said that before. I checked back later on, and it didn't say that anymore. What might that be? Um, y- yeah, if they took your claim, if you're on step 3, then unless somebody dropped the ball massively, you have enough credits. Um, because if the local Social Security office took your disability claim and you were technically uneligible because you didn't pay into Social Security, or your date last insured was not correct, you had to pay 5 out of the past 10 years, um, in terms of working. Um, if yeah, so I almost guarantee you 99.9% you're insured. You're good in terms of insurance status. Whether your claim has been approved or not, that's a whole different thing. But you're asking about enough credits. Yeah, the if the claim specialist in a local Social Security office sent that up for a medical decision, and and you weren't technically eligible, it was a technical denial, then their manager, you would go over there and slap them on the wrist. Not literally, but I wanted to sometimes when people used to do that because it wastes everybody's time. And so, yeah. Let's see. How important is a supplement plan if one has a Medicare Advantage plan? Um, Regular viewers to my channel know that I always recommend Medicare supplement plans first, Plan N, Plan G, but it comes with a monthly premium. So 40-50% of people choose a Medicare Advantage, usually because it's a zero premium and the advertising and everything. But I recommend Medicare supplements first. But if you get a Medicare Advantage, then it just takes a little bit more effort. You have to go through the prior authorizations and the networks. And I really recommend you check your plan every year so you can reach out to Chapter and they can check it for you, make sure you're in the best plan. And people say, well, I've had the same plan for 3 or 4 years. No, you haven't. You've had the plan since January 1st. You might have the same card and the same doctor and the same company, but it's a different plan. They change every year. They're only good for 1 year. So check the details, and it's always hidden in the details. So it's always good to have an expert review it with you, especially when it's free to get help. And how's it free? You already paid for it. All those decades you paid into Medicare under FICA, that's where all that Medicare Advantage money comes, and Part D, the Medicare Part A and Part B, and also the help from people like Chapter and every other Medicare insurance agent and broker in the country. You already paid them for the help, so go get it. Sister retired a year early, gets pennies in Social Security payments. Husband retired too, but unknown if it was early or not. He still works full time. Can she get spousal benefits? Yeah. Again, it doesn't matter whether the ex-husband was it ex or current. He still works time, and husband retired too, but unknown. Okay, unknown if it's so. It sounds like it's an ex. So as long as that person is 62 years old, if it's an ex, then she can start benefits. She can check to see if she's entitled to benefits on that person's record. Her benefits have to be less than half of his. So his benefits has to be twice, right? More than twice. Um, and they have to be divorced for 2 years if it's an independently entitled divorce case. But if it's a current spouse, yeah, it sounds like she already filed. But okay, wait, yeah, in both cases, it sounds like it's the husband retired but started collecting benefits. So yeah, I would call Social Security if it's a current one or X one. I'd call Social Security, and if it's an X one, you just say, hey, I want to file for spouse benefits. See if I'm eligible. If you don't know the Social Security number, just tell them the name, date of birth, as well as it. They can find it, and they'll tell you whether there's any more money there, whether that spouse's benefit is twice yours. And if it is, then they'll set you up an appointment and you can go get that money. Let's see. With all of those who have died from COVID-19, was has happened to their money? Social Security checks. Thousands have taken the vax. What happened then? Who pocketed it? It just went back into the trust fund. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that passed away were elderly, and so it helped the trust fund a little bit, added maybe a few months or so. But yeah, again, we need to have a serious conversation. The money wasn't, the trust fund hasn't been stolen. It's not given to, see how frogs are made gay, or, whatever weird conspiracy is out there. Trump said no cuts to Social Security. I believe him and trust him. Biden took a bunch of my savings, but turned I don't have any problems. Again, no cuts. Yeah, there was no cuts last term. There were no cuts the term before. There's not going to be any cuts this time around, I don't think. But that's not the issue. The issue is, how are we going to prevent the cuts that are slated to on the table, not this coming presidential term, but the next one? And that's the issue. I did a video on this yesterday that said, it's we've been stalling long enough, and now it's time to come up with a viable solution. And we're in a very, very unique time in American history right now, where we've got, like it or not, we have all the elements of power under one party: the House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court. It's all under one political party. Historically, it's been, well, we tried to do something, but the House said this and filibustered that, and that's it. It's stupid politics. But now there's no more excuses. It's all under one. So now we'll see what happens, whether they actually save Social Security or not. So there it is. Again, not save Social Security, but Social Security is still going to be around here as long as there are people paying in a FICA, but we want to not have any cuts. So now let's see here. My son currently gets SSI, but would switch to SSDI when we retire. I have benefits, but would get more if I used my husband's record. But I'm thinking that I can't use that because of the family max. All right. No, no, no. That's not an issue. So the child's will, yeah, once you or your husband file for benefits, if you only got one child, the family max is not an issue. Um, so the Social Security will make sure, or should make sure, that the child is receiving benefits from the highest record. So if it's yours, the highest record, then the child will get benefits off your record. If it's your husband, then the child will get benefits off your record, and your spouse benefits, not an issue. Yeah, the only time that takes effect is if you're filing for the child and care benefits. But it sounds like you're just filing for regular retirement benefits. So, do you believe that those in early 60s will be grandfathered in current system? This is scary enough situation to make people want to jump in before Social Security collapses. Yeah, usually when they pass laws like that, like when they passed to increase the retirement age in the 80s, that's another political trick that they use, is they don't, make you feel the pain. They make you give it to your children. And that's what happened. Next year, everybody that was born in 1960 that reaches 65 next year, their full retirement age is 67. So that was decided in the 80s by their parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and everything like that. So, but in terms of grandfathered in, there is no grandfather in, and there's no money coming in. So everybody, if we don't do something, we've got to make those tough decisions, and we got to stop the distractions. And we need to get serious about it. But yeah, so, and everybody's going to feel the pain, unfortunately. Why can't we just get one lump sum of everything we paid in? Then that would be the end of it, wouldn't it? They need to reinstate the FICA tax of the rich. How is that not equitable? Yep. If you watch my channel, that is the number one thing I personally recommend, is to smash the cap that everybody in the country pays FICA on all their earnings. And that would shore us up for decades and decades and decades. But yeah, everything else, raising the retirement age, raising FICA tax on everybody, the percentage, and cutting benefits. I think we're smarter. I think we can do better than that. 62 and applied for Social Security. Am I too optimistic? 62 and applied for Social Security, then was told I would lose my premium tax credit for health insurance on change. Is that true? Okay, so you're talking about the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, Affordable Care Act, the advanced premium tax credits, if you've those are based on your income and everything. So if you got more income coming in, then there is a possibility. So I would definitely reach out to whoever signed you up for that and see what they can do. If a child receives money after a parent's death, does that reduce the Social Security for the remaining parent? N- Um, there is a family max on survivor benefits like that, but if it's only one child and one parent that are receiving the survivors, then usually not. Yeah, if they're in the same household, you could have 10 people receiving benefits from one worker's work record, but if they're previous spouses, those don't count. It's only kind of the current family unit. If living out of the country during the window to sign up for Part B, can I get out of the penalty because I was gone? No. Or would I be best to find a way to sign up? Yeah, you can sign up online. So for the Part B, um, so you're talking about the window to sign up for Part B. If you've currently stopped working and stopped receiving health insurance from work, your employer has 20 or more employees, then you have to sign up. You have 8 months to sign up for Part B to avoid that penalty. So if you don't, then you'll be penalized 10% for every 12 months you go over. And then there's also a penalty for Part D. Since you mentioned Elon, he paid 30 billion in taxes in 1 year distribution. No, you got to look at that again. He made about 30 billion, but he paid about 10%, and several other years he didn't pay. I'm not going to talk about him because, yeah. Anyway, I want to keep my channel here. Does it really have to be this difficult? No, it doesn't, but it is. Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it is. And if Social Security picked up the phone and gave out correct information, then y'all would have never seen me, but here I am. So lucky you. Why does Social Security not let you see your report on what you would get if you're in process of getting SSDI? Yeah, I don't know about that. It's just a computer glitch type thing. I'm not sure why they don't fix that. I mean, they've got limited resources, and they're always, trying to, make the site better, which they do sometimes. I'm sure that's on their list to fix that. It's just a computer glitch. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. So. Well, this tells me nothing. I still don't know where I stand. Trump is going to stop the pain, so Trump is going to delete Social Security. Yeah, no, that's, politicians kind of supposedly, theoretically, representative democracy do what we tell them. So people always say, well, don't talk about it, Ed, until it actually happens. Like, wow, fait accompli, right? Then it's already done. It's like preventive maintenance on your car. Well, don't tell me what's wrong. Like, that I need oil change. Just tell me when my engine falls out. Car guy here, so sorry. 58 and on SSDI since I was 49. Just had a doctor schedule 2 eye surgeries in March and April next year. Praying new administration does not cut SSDI or anything in Social Security. Yeah, I don't think anything. Well, the previous. Yeah, we don't know. I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna be optimistic and hopefully something happens, and because this is the last opportunity. This next 4 years, particularly this next 2 years, because the political situation. If they wanted to save it, this is the time to do it. If they don't, then we will know in 2 years. Let's see here. My Social Security is only 853. I can't live on less. I worked my whole life from 17 years to 64. Yeah, so it's based on what you paid into it over the high 35 years. So 853, make sure you watch my video. I did a video, this one right here, how to live on Social Security alone. It's got about 40 or 50 different programs that might help you out, energy assistance and all kinds of different programs. So definitely check that out and see if you can find anything in there. I did another series of 4 videos on the same thing. It's kind of a elongated, but it's when I first started doing YouTube and my introductions were way too long and people said, you need to shut up. And so I made a shorter one. But okay, in the immediate term, if you're only getting 853, here's some things. If you are disabled, so it sounds like you're 65, so you're about to reach 65. you're 64, you're about to reach 65, you can file for SSI aged. Okay. So that's the income-based program, welfare-based program, low income, low resources. So it doesn't sound like you have anything else out there. So definitely file for SSI aged. It's not going to help you a whole heck of a lot. You might even be on SSI right now. The max you can get is $943. It's a few extra dollars, but if you're eligible for SSI, hopefully you're also receiving Medicaid from the state. And if you're receiving Medicare, the Medicaid from the state can pay for your Part B premium. And then you can also get the extra help with prescription drugs to pay for that. So all your health care is pretty much taken care of. You can get a Medicare Advantage plan. Again, I don't recommend those, people get them. But if you have Medicare and Medicaid, then you can't get a Medicare supplement. The only thing you get is a Medicare Advantage plan. And those are actually pretty good because they have a lot of extra, benefits, grocery cards and stuff like that. Those are the things you see advertised in a really, really scammy way on Facebook and everywhere. Probably some popped up on this. I can't control what YouTube puts in there in commercials. But those are the ones that, hey, $2,000 card, $3,000 card. And they're not supposed to be doing this. It's basically they look for the best card in the country. Medicare Advantage dual eligible usually is the best one. It's got the most money on it. It's a grocery card or over the counter card or something like that. And they look for the best one in, Paris, Texas. And then they advertise it all over the country. And then people from all over the country call them and they fell for it. And they say, hey, I want that, $2,000 grocery card. And they're like, wow, do you live in Paris, Texas? No, I don't live in Paris. Well, sorry, you can't get it. And then they give you the hard sell and try to switch you to something else. And so, yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. They're only supposed to be advertising in, if that card is available in Paris, Texas, then that's the only place they should be advertising that card. The Medicare Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services came down with a regulation a few months ago that said you can't do that bait and switch. If it's only available in Paris, Texas, you can only advertise it in Paris, Texas. You can't, advertise it in Bradenton, Florida, or wherever the case may be. But yeah, people, bad actors out there. What would it be easiest to do? Lift the cap or what? Financially, the easiest is to lift the cap. Yeah, no cap. Politically, yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna try to kind of skip political type stuff. I want to see if we can help people get more money here. But yeah, if you've got solutions and stuff, please type them in. I retired at 62, Social Security early, also collecting on X's. I'm low income. I'm on SSI, 66 years old. State pays Medicare premiums. Good. Medicare pays 20% after 6 months. No word on redetermination. All right. So yeah, make sure you watch that video. Get your electrical assistance, your water assistance. Because you're on SSI, just tell them, hey, I'm on SSI. Is there any programs? They used to have the internet assistance, but that ended a few years ago, unfortunately. Is what, $35 or something like that. But hey, $35 is $35. So let's see here. And if you're on SSI, were you ever married to anybody for 10 years or longer? Were you married to anybody that passed away when you were married to them? So check to see if there's any other benefits out there for you. So Kelly, SSDI mental disability awarded April 2024, 57 years old. When should I expect my first CDR as no date on award letter? You shouldn't. Please. Social Security does a terrible job at so many things. They do a great job at some things. One of the things they do an awesome job is freaking people out and stressing people out about CDRs, continuing disability reviews. Continuing disability reviews are completely budget driven. Social Security is given money to run the offices and pay the payroll, but they're given separate allocations for continuing disability reviews and SSI redeterminations. So there's quotas that hey, you've got budget to do. My office used to get a quota of 100 CDRs every month. You've got a budget to do 100 CDRs. Don't do 99. Don't do 101. The only money we have is for 100, so only do 100. So in order to get those 100 satisfied, every office in the country sends out 200 letters because people don't respond or they've moved or whatever the case may be. So even if you receive a CDR, they might not even do anything about it. So my philosophy is FCF. Forget about it. When you go out into the mailbox and you get it, well, now it's going to be mailed, it looks like, or emailed. Fill it out, make a copy, return it, get a signed receipt that you returned it, and then forget about it again. Forget about it, complete it, forget about it. So you've got enough to worry about in terms of, your disability and financial reasons and all this other medications. And so don't worry about it, CDR. Just get it while you're getting. Yeah. So let's see here. Oh, I've already got that one. I turned 65 in January. My husband passed away last November. He set up his retirement where I receive half of his pension. I'm also on disability. I was planning on applying for Social Security in January. So half of it, yeah, half of his pension sounds like another private pension in there. So awesome. He was probably federal or something. Sounds like. But if you're 65, you're on disability, and he passed away, then yes, you need to go in there and get survivor benefits. And if his benefits was more than yours, then you're eligible for survivor benefits. And remember, your disability, you're going to still get disability. You're still going to get Medicare. Don't worry about that. But the survivor benefits are going to go on top of the disability. One offsets the other in terms of the amount, but you're going to get survivor benefits, disability benefits, and Medicare is going to continue. There's too many people that are not getting those benefits because they think their Medicare is going to stop. It's not. All right. Let's see. Get another question. If SSI is a welfare program, why is it tied to SSA where people had working income? Yeah, it was taken actually celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. SSI, the welfare-based programs, there was a whole bunch of them, throughout the country. And then in 1974, they consolidated those specific programs into supplemental security income, and it's administered by Social Security. So, and you also have welfare, TANF and Medicaid through the states and stuff like that. That's administered through the states. But SSI, supplemental security income, is a needs-based, low income, low resource, administered by Social Security. In Social Security offices like my office, I had 100 employees in my office, give or take 10 or 20, depending on the year. But about a third of the staff of my staff were customer service representatives, the people you see at the front windows and picking up the phones. A third were called Title II CSs, and those are Title II of the Social Security Act: retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, Social Security disability insurance. And then about a third is SSI, supplemental security income. And those ratios change depending on what part of the country you're in. So some offices have more SSI, some offices have less SSI. So, but that's pretty much it. Let's see here. If I'm collecting SSDI at 62, which I penalized when I turn 65, will I get full benefits that I'm due? If you're collecting SSDI, then you don't do anything at 62. You don't, a lot of people, should I, get my retirement benefits? Well, you can stop your disability and get your retirement benefits at 62, but you're going to get a 30% cut and you might lose your Medicare. So just stay on SSDI. You're getting your full benefit amount. So when you get SSDI, you get your full benefit amount as if you waited till your full retirement age. So the only thing that will change is when you hit your full retirement age, 67 or whatever, your disability benefits will switch to regular retirement benefits, and you won't even know the difference because the amount will stay the same. But again, another thing people are missing out there is they've been switched to regular retirement benefits at their full retirement age, and they don't realize it. And I get calls all the time and say, "Hey, I'm 75 years old. I someone just offered me a job, but I turned it down. I could really use the money. It was an easy job, but I didn't want to risk my disability stopping." I'm like, no, call that person up, take the job. You're not on disability anymore. You have no restrictions whatsoever. You can make $1 billion a day, and Social Security doesn't care anymore. So yeah, you're free from all those limitations and no more CDRs and all that kind of good stuff. So, is ex-spouse benefits calculated at the time the working spouse turns 62, or is it the age of the ex-spouse who wants to collect? It's a spouse or an ex-spouse benefit is based on the number holder, the worker's primary insurance amount, which is their benefit at their full retirement age. So it doesn't matter when that spouse or ex-spouse started their benefits for living benefits. It's based on when the other spouse starts their benefits. If they start at 62, then they're fully reduced. If they wait until their full retirement age, they receive the full 50%. All right, let's see. I am 66 and I want to know at what age I can go back to work without being penalized. I turned 62 and retired in 2020. So, yeah, it's basically you're 66 now. That's probably not your full retirement age. So, whatever your full retirement age, you can, work as much as you want. But the year you turn your full retirement age, so let's say 2025, you turn your full retirement age in, let's say, July. Basically, from January of next year till June, you can make, what is the number next year? Is like 62,000 or so, 63. Um, and then starting in July, you can make $1 billion a month. So, yep, it really depends on. So for right now, if this is not the year you turn your full retirement age, you can only make about 20, 22, 23,000. So, all right. How do I remove Medicare from the CMS system because it's affect Medicaid? Medicaid is still showing as primary in the med system. Yeah, that sounds like a computer issue. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm covered by my husband's insurance at work. Would Medicare pay what the insurance did not pay? Um, yeah, sometimes as a primary, sometimes, if you have health insurance from current work, and you're happy with it and they're not making you sign up for Part B, then, some people just don't do it because, save yourself the $174 or $185 next year. But yeah, I would reach out to your health insurance. Sometimes it does benefit, particularly here's a scenario. If you go into the hospital and this year, Medicare Part A, which covers the hospitals, the deductible for going to the hospital is $1,632. Let's say your health insurance from work, the deductible is 3,000. So if you just have your health insurance from work, you have to pay the first 3,000. But if you have Medicare Part A, you only have to pay 1632 because Medicare covers that difference. And that's why sometimes health insurance companies from work say sign up for Part B or Part A if you're eligible. No, let's see here. Can a son claim his 66-year-old mom who on Social Security? Does that affect her Social Security payment or Medicare? Can a son claim his? So the son wants to claim benefits on the mother's record. If the son was disabled before the age of 22 and can prove it and files the claim and all that kind of stuff, yes. If the mother is receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits and the son can prove that he was disabled before the age of 22, that's called the disabled adult child benefits. And yes, but you have to go through all that. Thank you for your help and knowledge. Thank you. Can someone without 40 quarters into Social Security able to collect Social Security at 65 or full retirement age? No, you have to have that minimum. What happens to disabled from birth SSDI adult survivors when they reach retirement age? Nothing. Yeah, if it's you get someone a disabled adult child gets benefits forever, unless they're they get married, they start working and no longer become disabled and all that. But if everything is still applicable, then they get it forever. So. All right, let's see here. Do I qualify for X? I'm jumping around a little bit. We've got a bunch of questions here. Oh, speaking of, on Thanksgiving Day, I am going to do a telethon, not a Jerry Lewis type telethon, but I'm going to do like 1 or 2 or 3 hours of question and answers. And since y'all have hopefully all your families, and sometimes you're talking to some family members. So if you have people that need help with Social Security, I'm going to be there on Thanksgiving Day to answer questions for a long period of time. All right. Do I qualify for ex-spousal benefits if my ex never filed US tax returns? He is an American citizen who lives overseas. I don't know if he ever worked and paid in. Yeah, he had, if he never paid into Social Security, then just like car insurance, if you never, bought car insurance, then yeah, you're, when you get in an accident, you're all on your own. All right, let's make this the last one. We're at an hour. When start Social Security and Disability, 63 October, unable to think on job one day, I told boss and quit. Oh, I shouldn't have picked that one. Work said quit out. Okay, that's all over the place. Sorry, I can't answer that one. Oh, here's husband murdered age 33, both of us at that age. I started receiving widow's benefits at 62. Asked the SSA office last month if Windex was used to calculate my benefits. He said the computer figures. Yes, sometimes it is a manual calculation, especially on the old system, the old A101s and stuff. The old Social Security people know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so basically, if you receive survivor benefits and the survivor passed before the age of 22 or 62, then there's a little bit of different calculation of indexing. It's called the widow's index. Um, and yes, the computer figures it out the most time, but if it was a manual claim, then maybe not. So if you're wondering, you can always ask for an accounting. You just said, "Hey, I want a detailed accounting of exactly how my benefits were calculated," and you submit it, and you just wait, unfortunately, forever because it's not done at the local office. They're done at the regional offices, and they are way, way, way backed up. But if they figure out, if you get the letter 6 months down the line and they say, "Oops, yeah, we forgot to do that," they will give you back pay for however long you were receiving benefits. So, all right. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut it short here. Thank you for everybody. If I'll be back again tomorrow. And so if I missed your question, make sure you cut and paste and